just collaborating. He'll call and I help him with a project. I can call and he'll help, vice versa. And we're like, let's make it a film company, man. And so Dream Acres Production was put together like that.
So how'd you get into politics?
Through the photography. Actually, once again, Rossi had called me about a community event that was going on in Childs Park around the death of a young lady, Tamika Mack. Happened maybe 12, 13 years ago, if not more. And so as they were having the candlelight vigil, I just met all the individuals in the community. I already knew some, and then some I just was like, hey, here's my number, call me if you need me. And I just was word is bond, I meant it. I wasn't telling people to call me if they need me and not me and not meant it. And a lot of them called me, and I did what I could for them at that time, which led me to the whole political world. I became politically aware like as a child. I used to watch news and media since like Ross Perot. I remember when Ross Perot ran and lost. I liked it, Ross Perot. I wanted Ross Perot to win. I think Bill Clinton beat Ross Perot. Yes, I like the Ross Perot, the big ears, the oil man he's like the prototype of Trump. It was Trump before Trump. But I think Ross ain't Trump. I ain't gonna say that. They're different people. But that same prototype. So I was aware of it back then. And if you can trace that time, you can see how old I was. And I've been following it since then. I learned more, reading more, and when I went to prison, so I learned a lot. And it was useful information once I did get into the political arena. I kind of knew how to navigate without never been in it. I kind of knew things that I had no business knowing because I had already I had over a decade worth of information, like over a decade of information about politics. And it became like, oh, I know what to do right there. Oh, I kind of knew, or I kind of could make a suggestion and, people listen.
Excellent. So you keep mentioning and referencing your stint in captivity, for lack of a better term.
The chain gang.
So I just want to, if you can just let our audience know what led you there, okay. And then what your turnaround was.
Yeah.
Based on that experience.
So I actually I have an extensive background. Like, a lot of times people look to use my background against me, right? But I think my background is why I'm here. I think what I've been through has prepared me for this moment. So I'm not ashamed of my background. It's public record. You can Google it or look it up. And I learned a lot in prison. Prison was like college for me. It was like a doctorate, honestly. I learned more information than I probably can use in a lifetime, behind the wall, because I decided to do that. That's what I decided to do with my time. Actually modeling after Malcolm X, because I had already told myself as a kid, like, if I go to prison, I'm gonna do what Malcolm X did. I'm gonna start reading the dictionary. I'm gonna go to the dictionary, start reading the dictionary from back to forward, because I read backwards. So I embraced it. I didn't try to make myself read the correct way. I would read novels backwards. I start at the beginning. I start at the end. So like, one of my favorite books I read was Killing Pablo Escobar. If y'all ever know, Pablo was a big dog in the illegal world. And they made a book about killing Pablo Escobar. They made a series called Narcos. It was based off this book. But I started reading the book from the back. And then it was so good, I said, oh, I'm gonna read it from the beginning. So I read it back and forth. But that's kind of how, I learned. I really barely could read. I had great comprehension coming up in school, but I really couldn't really read really good. But after just so much, now I can just, when I'm in that mood, I can just go crazy with it.
That's excellent.
And I think it's an important part of my story, because just like a lot of people say, yeah, when I was in Harvard, or yeah, when I was at St. Pete College or whatever, when they would talk about their institution, I was at a different institution. It was a correctional institution, but also still an institution, all in the same. And if you decided to do your work and graduate with top honors, that's what you did. And that's what I decided to do. I decided to do my work and graduate with honors. You know, even though there's no one to give me the honorship package, there's no summa cum laude from the chain gang, but if it was, I think I have it.